Hey y'all, I'm JD and welcome back to the Dimensionswoodworks woodshop. Today we're going to be working on some pop-up bench dogs. Let's get started.
This video is brought to you by Woodcraft, helping you to make woodwork since 1928. So the first thing I want to do, just to kind of keep everything uniform, is take the current bench dogs I have, take that measurement and transfer it to the bench dogs I am going to make. I use the calipers to transfer that measurement over to my oak dowel, then use a pencil just so I can see the line a little bit better. Then, because I know I'm using a 3/4 inch dowel, half of that measurement is 3/8. So I set my Craig multi-mark to 3/8 and I mark in every direction in order to find the center to punch a reference in the center of the dowel. Then I take the dowel with the center marked hole over to the drill press using one of these wooden hand screw clamps just to give myself some stability and drill that hole dead center of the dowel. I did these little hand-drawn layouts before I got started, so I knew exactly what size everything needed to be. Then I set my calipers to that measurement that the notch in the dog is set to, which is equivalent to the travel of the pop-up mechanism. Once I made the initial mark, I set my small combination square to that same measurement and then went around the dowel, marking out the area that will become the waist. On the bottom line, I just kind of got close, and then I came back to the edges to match up that center mark from the top and bring it down the sides of what will become the dog. Now that all the layout tools are set up to their proper measurements, I can quickly mark out the rest of the bench dogs, and I made sure to make a couple extra just in case we had any mistakes. Then I set up the dowels in my vise on my workbench. I could have done this from the bandsaw, but in my experience it gets dangerous really quickly cutting dowels on the bandsaw. So I just felt better about doing this by hand. I just made sure to take my time and make sure that the saw curve followed the lines exactly so that all of the bench dogs were uniform in the end. Now, this is the mechanism that we're going to use in order to make the bench dogs pop up from their position. It's just a push latch from a cabinet setup that is sold by itself. We're going to add a little bit of hot glue and stick it down in that hole that we drilled earlier in our dowels. You can use whatever adhesive you want for this process. I just like the hot glue because it sets quickly, but you could also use a 5-minute epoxy or even a CA glue. Now, referring back to my drawings and measurements that I've done earlier, I know exactly the depth that hole needs to be to accommodate the bench dog with the new hardware attached to the bottom. And as I complete each hole, I go ahead and drop the dog in there just to make sure that it fits correctly. Now that I have all the holes drilled, I'm going to go ahead and just add finish to the bench dogs themselves. So this is one of the use cases for the pop-up dogs. After all that work, you got to ask yourself why you would do that. Well, because when they're disengaged, they're down out of the way, and then when you pop them up, this is exactly when they would be used. Put pressure against those other dogs that are already set in the bench to work on the face of the board. And that keeps the work nice and secure. It's not going anywhere, side to side or end to end. It's exactly where you want it to stay and reveal that beautiful grain and release that awesome smell from this rough cut cedar.
Thanks so much for watching, y'all. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel so that you can be notified when we release new videos. Also, check out some of the other videos in the workbench series. I've gone all the way from the initial build of the workbench itself through a lot of the accessories that I've used to help improve my workflow in the shop, and maybe you can find something useful in there as well. And until next time, don't forget to get better every day.